Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Monday Night Raw review from September 28th, 2015. Yeah, as you all can tell, I got a cold, I sound clogged up, I'm congested, all that jazz, but I'm going to do a quick Monday Night Raw review just so that I can let my audience be able to have my input and idea about what this Raw episode was like. And I have to say, it had its good moments, it had its bad moments, but they had some pretty good build-up going into this MSG live event for the WWE Network. So, we go ahead, we have the John Cena US Open Challenge bullshit again. We have Xavier Woods challenge for the US title. Big whoop-de-doo. The match ended up being a DQ. The New Day group got involved. Dudley Boys came to the rescue of John Cena. And that was about it. And then they came back right after commercial. They made Kane issue a six-man tag team match with the Dudley Boys and Cena versus the New Day. And the New Day walked away with the victory over John Cena and Dudley Boys. This match was okay, better than the US Open Challenge, I have to say that much. So, nothing bad to say there, but, New Day's getting a little annoying. They're acting a little bit more rambunctious, acting really retarded, and just out of their fucking minds, but they're kind of humorous at the same time at some points. I'm not really going to give any ratings. Last night's matches weren't exactly what you call deserving of ratings. It was more of the storyline build-up towards the MSG event, and a little bit of build-up to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for the WWE Championship, which was kind of quite interesting to watch. They did some good, a different, interesting job on Kane in this situation, but I'll get further into that as I go along. Big Show and Mark Henry, as I've said many times before, Mark Henry needs to hang it up. He sucks. All they keep doing is bringing him back to get his ass kicked. Who cares? He sucks. And he's not that entertaining anymore as he used to be. So that's pointless. Big Show, after the match was over, left a very entertaining promo on the mic. Did a pretty good job on the build-up and, basically stating, we have a long history together, me and Brock Lesnar. We've had countless encounters with each other. I was the first person in Brock Lesnar's young career to beat him and defeat him, which, ironically, they don't happen to mention Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar, and the reason why is simple, because it wouldn't make much sense now that Paul Heyman is loyal to Brock Lesnar and won't ever leave his side again. So, that's kind of the reason why, obviously. We then had a promo with the Miz show, bullshit talk show, crap. He pretty much went ahead and was asking what are their thoughts on Paige leaving the group and turning on them and everything else. And they left a very strong statement by both Becky Lynch and Paige. It's not about them. It's not about the Divas title or the women that are involved in it. It's about the fans caring about the Divas division, the wrestlers involved in it caring and believing in each other regardless whether they like each other or not. Which is a very strong statement, very value statement, and I found that to be very true and realistic. So very good promo on their part for throwing that in there and giving real reason, giving a little bit of a better build-up with this progression of the Divas Revolution. So I kind of like that. The only thing is the match kind of sucked because they had Paige turn on them, which was obvious. They did pretty much the same formula and pattern they always do. Paige slips to being a bad guy, and then the next weekend, she goes ahead and automatically slips right towards bad guy instantly. Not an in-between, no build-up or slow build-up to her becoming a heel. So, outside of the 2 weeks that they had, that was all the build-up they did to build her into a heel, and I think they could have done something like this, you know, a slow swing into a heel, or maybe even going ahead and making her go from like looking like she was going to become a heel to staying a face. I think that would have been entertaining and interesting. Throwing people off guard, making people guess, are they really decided to do that, or was it just simplistic, you know, jealousy at the time, but she changed her mind kind of thing. That kind of situation would be really entertaining to see. I mean, there's been many different storylines that they've done stuff like that, and, you know, had situations that they could go with that, and they never did. They always swung directly to the exact thing that's the obvious thing that looked like it was going to occur. And I think that's kind of stupid. I think you kind of twist and turn things, make people, you know, a little bit, you know, kind of guessing where you're going with it, but at the same time, you know, make it make sense, of course. And that's just my opinion. Do I agree that they should split the three of them up and all the other factions that are in the Divas division? Absolutely, but kind of do it in a slow process. You know, make them all more caring about winning the Divas title. That's a great way to make them all separate without, you know, making one person span out to be in a heel or one spanning out to be a face. Kind of make things unpredictable, and that was really predictable. It was very obvious it was going to happen. So the Team Bella beat PCB. Natalya came out. She tried to get involved, help the team out, and replace Paige, and Paige came back and pulled her leg off the apron, and she fell and hit her face right on the apron of the ring. So she was kind of hurting a little bit, and they lost the match altogether. Wyatt family, Braun Strowman, and Luke Harper defeating the Primetime Players. Nothing big here, nothing, you know, all that entertaining. I kind of switched over to the football game, watching the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs, which was a very entertaining game, by the way. Not to mention I had some money riding on that game with some of the players I picked on FanDuel, so unfortunately I didn't win anything, but I only had to put $2 down to win a few bucks. So there you go. Well, to win a good amount of money, like $100 if I finish in first and so forth, but I'm not going to get further into that. That's not even part of the whole review here. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. So pretty much this match ended. Braun Strowman knocked out Titus O'Neil in a submission hold they have, which is absolutely ridiculous. They need to really get rid of that move. It's absolute crap. They also had Kane being evaluated for his Director of Operations position, and they went ahead and basically stated that Kane is more dependable and worthy enough to be the Directors of Operation. Seth Rollins is unprofessional, whiny, narcissistic, and full of bullshit, basically, is what they said about him, which is true. But Kane is no different, and he's playing a bullshit game, of course, just so that he could get his hands on Seth Rollins, which later on in this segment, he does. Seth Rollins beats the hell out of Kane. He beats his ass, busses on his leg, trying to injure his ankle, and he's carted off out of the arena, goes in outside the arena, gets put inside of an ambulance. They drive off a few minutes, and then out of nowhere, after a few minutes of driving, the ambulance stops, the inside of the ambulance turns red, and then out pops the Monster Kane, quote-unquote. And he's acting like he's crippled and he can't walk, and then he just stomps his leg on the ground. Now, this is actually kind of different. He's playing a split personality type character, which he's never really done before. The only thing close to that is really the whole scenario that they did with the Kane versus Kane, with the masked Kane versus the regular Kane, to build up the See No Evil movie that he did back in 2006, which was a complete failure, by the way. And this is kind of similar to that, only he's not facing another Kane, he's facing Seth Rollins. He's just playing two split characters, kind of like what Joseph Park and the Abyss character they did back in TNA a few years ago. This one's a bit better, mainly because of the fact that, I mean, Kane kind of, as his regular self, kind of acknowledges the other side of himself somewhat, while the other character, the Abyss character, didn't. He was actually playing two split people, pretending to be a brother, and in the end, he's really Abyss anyway. So, they're kind of different in some ways, and they're kind of very similar in some ways, too. So, I mean, this storyline is a bit better, I think, basically because it's a little bit more original, but, I mean, again, like a lot of other people have said, and I've said on countless times, Kane is, you know, Kane, he's overdone. Him, Big Show, and Mark Henry are really outdone their time. They don't need to do anymore. There's nothing else new or fresh they can do to make their characters entertaining anymore. It's basically dead for them. They don't have nothing. Big Show's build-up, it's great, but all in all, we all know what's going to happen. Big Show's going to lose to Brock Lesnar, and then he goes back to where he was, to Nowheresville, or competing for the Intercontinental Championship, or trying to pretend he's a big giant who's a monster and can kick anyone's ass. Big fucking deal. He's done that on countless occasions anyway, so it don't really matter. Which brings me to my next segment. Oh yeah, and Kane pretty much demolished Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins managed to avoid from getting tombstone at the end of this segment, ran off with the title, and Kane stood there tall, looking dominant. As we all know, this match is more than likely going to be for the WWE Championship. Oh wait, he didn't walk away with the championship. Kane was holding the championship title. Excuse me, I apologize, guys. He was actually holding the title and staring at it and smiling back at Seth Rollins, basically indicating, of course, that this match is going to lead into a WWE Championship match anyway. Hopefully it's not inside the Hell in a Cell. I think, again, the Hell in a Cell match should be only for Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, specifically because this has been a 2-year build-up with silent build-up in between WrestleMania 30 and going into SummerSlam of this year. So, I mean, it really has a lot of build-up going into this, a lot of time and effort put into it, even though, yeah, they didn't directly go ahead and, like, build up on it, but they, like, inadvertently did that by, you know, Paul Heyman constantly saying, oh, we broke the Undertaker's winning streak at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it made sense in some way, but it wasn't heavy-duty build-up. It just led to a match at SummerSlam altogether. So, after that, we did have Paul Heyman come out later on during the night. Paul Heyman made his statement about Brock Lesnar. Big Show came out. And Big Show left a really big statement on Paul Heyman. And he kind of made Paul Heyman look like his bitch. Paul Heyman kind of walked out of the ring with a sauerkraut face, and he wasn't happy what Big Show said to him. It kind of was like, this might be the truth, you know, having doubt in his mind. Again, kind of very similar to the Survivor Series of 2002 pay-per-view that they had for the WWE title. So nothing big there. But it was a pretty good promo on Big Show's part. Again, he's done some pretty good promos since they've led into this whole, Brock Lesnar Big Show match at Madison Square Garden. The next match after that, we had Neville defeating Stardust in a DQ. Big fucking deal. Didn't even watch that match. Didn't care to watch it. We had some backstage segment with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And, Roman Reigns pretty much made his point that, he's doing this on his own against Bray Wyatt one-on-one. He don't want no outside interference. And Dean Ambrose said if, the other two douchebags come back down to the ring, he's going to stop them both. And he said, well, what about Randy Orton? And and goes, I don't really want any more outside people getting involved. You and me against them, that's it. After the situation with Chris Jericho, blah, 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 I'm sick of it. I really just want us to do it on our own. Randy Orton pops out of nowhere and says, hey, why don't you continue what you were trying to say? Because honestly, I have a lot to do with this. I'm not an outside person, because they attacked me, if you don't remember, a couple of weeks ago, which makes a lot of sense. He was attacked. And they went to him to talk to him about possibly joining their group when they were looking for a third man. So it makes a lot of sense in this situation. We then lead into the match with Randy Orton and Bo Dallas. Randy Orton wins by a minute, less than 2 minutes, hits the RKO and walks away, beating Bo Dallas and with no problem. Shitty fucking match. Kevin Owens Rusev, shitty fucking match again, no contest. It ended up being a double count out. Ryback was sitting at ringside. It was 45 seconds, and that was the end of that. So nothing big there. And final match, the main event, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Very good, entertaining match. Unfortunately, it was a double count out as well. And you know, that's fine and dandy, because the way they ended it was a very good way of building into the storyline. So the way they ended it, even though it wasn't a finish of any kind, it was a good build-up. Regardless, they went all over the arena, beat the hell out of each other. The audience was into it. It was a lot of fun to watch. And at the end of the scenario, Roman Reigns speared Bray Wyatt through the announce table, and they both were laid out on their backs. And that's how they ended the show. So, I mean, the ending was pretty good. Some of the segments that were involved were alright. Matches could have been a whole lot better, but build up towards these events, the MSG event and some part of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, is pretty well done. I can't complain. I don't think that the storylines are too bad leading into these two events of Hell in a Cell and MSG live event. So I'm definitely looking forward to the live event, despite the fact of some of the repetitive matches that are involved in this. But, you know, it's not that bad. So definitely looking forward to Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho at MSG. Big Show, Brock Lesnar, based off of the storyline build-up they've done. John Cena and Seth Rollins, I mean, for the U.S. title in a steel cage, we all know what the result of that's going to be. It all depends on how well the action is. If the action's really fun and enjoyable to watch, then it was well worth it to even watch it. But overall, decent little live event we'll get to see on October 3rd, this coming Saturday. But overall, you know, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst either. I can't say it was horrible, but it wasn't great either. But anyway, at this time, leave your comments and opinions down below. I definitely will answer back to you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and have a great night, guys. Bye.